Hey everybody, so in this video we're going to continue talking about section 6.4 and we're really focusing on circles. So in the last video we looked at the standard form of the equation for the circle, which is right here, where hk is the center and the radius is r. Okay, so this time we're going to look at the general form of the equation for a circle. Okay, so you can see that the general form is just all multiplied out and then the terms put in descending order with x first and then y. Okay, so let's do an example of using this. Okay, so this is an equation that's in standard form and we're going to put it in general form. Okay, now the way that we're going to do this, take something that looks like this and make it look like that, is we're just going to multiply this all out. So we have x minus 2 times x minus 2 plus y plus 1 times y plus 1. Okay, so we'll multiply this out. We get x squared minus 2x plus 4 plus y squared plus y plus 1 equals 4. Okay, now we're going to combine all of our like terms, and we're even going to subtract 4 from this side so that we get 0 on the right side. So we have x squared plus y squared. Now we have minus 2x and minus 2x, that's minus 4x. We have plus y and plus y, so that's plus 2y. Okay, now we have 4 plus 1, which is 5, minus 4, which is 1. Okay, so this is our equation in general form. Okay. So now we've seen how to do that. This isn't actually that useful because the standard form contains lots of information like the center 2, -1 and the radius 2, whereas the general form doesn't actually tell you any of that information. So more often than not, we're going to be going the other direction where we take something from general form and rewrite it in standard form. Okay, so let's look at an example like that. Okay. So we're going to start with this equation. Yeah, okay. All right. So we know that we want it to have this form, right? The standard form where we have x minus h squared and y minus k squared. Okay. So what we're going to do is first we're going to group together our x terms and our y terms. Okay. And then we're going to think about what technique we already know that might help us do this. Okay. All right, so we want to take something with this form and turn it into a square. Okay, so we're thinking, is there any technique that we know that allows us to do this? Okay, Well, the answer is yes, we do know something that allows us to do this. We know how to complete the square. Okay, so we're just going to complete the square for x and complete the square for y totally separately. Okay, all right, now for x, we're going to take the coefficient of x, which is -14. We're going to divide it by 2, and then we're going to square it. So we get -7 squared, or 49. Okay, and we know that this is what we need to add in here. Okay. We're going to do the same thing for y. So we're going to take the coefficient of y, which is 4, divide it by 2, and square it. So we have 2 squared, or 4, and we know that that's what needs to go in here. Okay. All right, so let's write out what we have. Okay, so now we said that we needed to add in 49 here, so we are going to add in 49, and that means that we also need to subtract 49. Okay, here we said we needed to add in 4, so we're going to add in 4, and remember that means that we also need to subtract 4. Okay. All right, so now we're going to factor this. So what multiplies to 49 and adds to -14? It's going to be -7 and -7. Okay, what multiplies to 4 and adds to 4? It's 2 and 2. Okay. And then here we're just going to add up what we have. So we have 25 minus 49, which is -24, minus 4, which is -28. Okay. All right, so if we want to finish putting this into our standard form, the only thing we need to do is add 28 to both sides. Okay. Now, from this information, we could also determine the center and the radius. So we can see that the center is 7, -2, okay, and that the radius is square root of 28, right, or 2√7. All right. So that is an application for completing the square where absolutely no other method will work, right? When we talked about completing the square, we said it maybe isn't as useful as a method to solve quadratic equations, but it does have other uses, and this is one of the other uses, okay? There's no other way to make this work. All right, let's do one more example of this. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is write this in standard form. Okay, so again, I'm going to gather up my x terms, which are x squared plus 8x. Okay, then I'm going to gather up my y terms, y squared minus 6y. Okay, and then I'm going to complete the square. Okay, so 8 divided by 2 squared is 4 squared, or 16. So I'm going to add 16 here, and I'm going to subtract 16. Here I'm going to take -6, divide it by 2, and square it. So this is -3 squared or 9. Okay, so I would add 9 here, and I would subtract 9 here. Okay, so now I'm going to finish completing the square by factoring these. So what multiplies to 16 and adds to 8? That's going to be 4 and 4. So this will be x plus 4 squared. Here I'll get y minus 3 squared. Okay, and then I'm just going to add these numbers together. So this is negative 25 plus 2, or negative 23. Okay, and the last thing I need to do to finish putting this in standard form is just to add that 23 to the other side. All right, so let's look at part B of this example. Okay, which is just to state the center and radius. Okay, so I can just read them off from the standard form, which is negative 4, 3 for the center, negative 4, 3, and my radius is the square root of this number, or root 23. Okay, and the last part of this example is to graph. Okay, so the only thing I need to do before I start graphing, because I do already know my center and radius, is get the approximate value for the radius here. Okay, so this is approximately 4.8. Okay, so let's look at a graph. Okay, so my center was negative 4, 3. Okay, so negative 4, 3. Okay, so there's my center. And then just like before, I'm going to go in each of the 4 directions. So I'm going to go approximately 4.8, or a little bit less than 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit less than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then I'm just going to connect these 4 points that I know are on the circle with about as circular of a shape as I can do freehand. Okay. And there's my graph. Okay. I hope these examples made sense, and I will see you guys soon.